All right, Chad, it was just brought to my attention that Henry Cavill will not be returning to Superman, Chad. He won't be playing Clark Kent. And apparently it's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. James Gunn is writing a Superman movie, Chad. James Gunn is making his first big move at DC and will pen a Superman movie. The project will focus on the younger years of the hero, and thus he'll be played by a new actor rather than Superman veteran Henry Cavill. Gunn and his DC Studios co-chair and co-CEO, Peter Safran, recently met with Cavill to share the news and to discuss ideas for potentially collaborating in the future on something else, perhaps a different role. At this stage, Gunn is merely writing the script, though he could potentially direct depending on his services are needed at DC Studios, according to insiders. Peter and I have a DC slate ready to go, which I'm very curious about that. They're going to announce it soon, which is going to be more over the top about. We'll be able to share some exciting information about our first project at the beginning of the new year. That's good. So very soon, a couple weeks. Gunn on Twitter Wednesday. Logan's on the slate as Superman. In the initial stage, our story will be focusing on the early part of Superman's life, so the character will not be played by Henry Cavill. But we just had a great meeting with Henry, and we're big fans, and we talked about a number of exciting possibilities to work together in the future. Though the Superman will be on the younger side, he won't be living in Smallville, but rather Daily Planet reporter Clark Kent, according to insiders. This is good. I'm liking everything I'm hearing, I'm loving. This is good news. News may be a surprise fans who expect Cavill to return as Superman in the near future. Cavill appeared in a post-credit sequence in Black Adam. Yeah, released in October, and the Monday after the film opened, posted a message on Instagram announcing he was back as Superman. I mean, technically, I guess he was. According to sources, the Instagram message was sanctioned by Warner Brass before Gunn and Safran were hired. Look at that. Thus, the change in plans. Since taking on new roles on November 1st, Gunn and Safran have been taking meetings with other key players in the DC Universe. In addition to Cavill, they recently met with Batman actor Ben Affleck, discussed possibly him returning to direct for them in the future. According to those sources, with the conversation, no deals in place from the Helm of DC feature at this stage. They all had a conversation with filmmaker Patty Jenkins, who will no longer be moving forward with a third Wonder Woman film. Whereas also been developing a Black Adam Superman film written by Ta-Nehisi. That ain't happened. Ta-Nehisi Coates, produced by J. Abrams, and Gunn's movie said to not have an impact on that project, with Coates still working on the script. We'll see about that. Warner's has long wanted Gunn to tackle Superman movie 2018 after Gunn departed Marvel Studios for DC, which I believe fired from the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Then Warner studio boss Toby Emmerich pushed for Gunn to take on Superman. Gunn opted to write and direct Suicide Squad, which was great. The movie also paved the way for Peacemaker, also great. HBO spin-off series starring John Cena. Superman has long been a favorite of Gunn, who has been thinking about this movie since his early days at DC for years. Over the weekend, Gunn marked the anniversary of 1978 film by Richard Donner, sharing the poster, reminiscing about seeing it in theaters in Missouri as a child. The filmmaker and executive, I loved it, and it unraveled stars for me, and the score blew my mind. Yeah, it's big news. I'm not surprised. I think what's going to be happening now, Chad, is Gunn and Safran, they are going to be doing a straight-up reboot of the DC Cinematic Universe, as they're now calling it. The DCU is probably dead. They have to release the films that they're going to release, Blue Beetle, The Flash, Shazam, Aquaman. But I think that is going to be the last of those films, and they're going to start fresh. I imagine the Joker movies, they'll be their own thing, and the Batman movies possibly might be their own thing, but I don't know. I would not be shocked if that's used as a foundation for the new DCU. There's no reason why I could not be. I would be very interested to see something like that. I wouldn't be open to that. I would be very open to that, but we'll see. But no, for me, as someone who has, really vehemently disliked this version of Superman, and it's not Henry Cavill's fault. Though I do not think he is the strongest actor in the world. How that character was written, but really the true flaws were how that character was written, how that character was directed, just the basic fundamental philosophy how they approached that character. It was wrong. It just wasn't Superman, and sadly that has followed Henry Cavill's take on the character, and it's not fair to him. But I think this is you gotta move on. You have to recast. You have to actually get someone involved, someone in there who understands this character, and not make him a mopey psychopath who drops skyscrapers on people. So, I'm very happy about this news. I've been waiting for this for some time, and it's finally happened. I'm sure the Snyder fans are freaking out right now, but for me, I'm happy about this. This is what needs to be done. Quite frankly, there's too much baggage with the DCEU and with Cavill's Superman. I mean, that didn't put butts in seats for Black Adam. That didn't help at all. You know, I feel like there's the contingent of people that like that Cavill Superman, and more power to you. I just don't, and they want to approach the character and in the right way. And so I'm hopeful for the future. I'm very hopeful. I think this was a great first step for me. This is fantastic news. This is such good news. But that's just how I feel, chat. I'm curious how everyone else feels in the chat. All right, Henry Cavill is out, officially out as Superman. They're going to be doing a new Superman movie written by James Gunn, maybe directed by James Gunn, but they're going to be approaching the character in the way he should be approached. And I love that we're not doing Smallville, not doing that. He's at the Daily Planet. He's a reporter. Fantastic, because we all know Superman's origin at this point. Start there. Have him what Lois already knows. Have characters already know who he is. That'd be perfect. That's what they should do. And then move forward. And let's get some new villains. Let's get fucking Brainiac in there, okay? Let's do that. Let's do that. All right? So happy about this. We just got a post from Henry Cavill. Thank you, Trailblazers, for providing this to me. I just had a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran, and it's sad news, everyone. I will, after all, not be returning as Superman. After being told by the studio to announce my return back in October, prior to their hire, this news isn't the easiest, but that's life. The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that. James and Peter have a universe to build. I wish them and all involved with the new universe the best of luck and the happiest of fortunes. For those who have been on my side through the years, we can mourn for a bit, but then we must remember Superman is still around. Everything he stands for still exists. And the example he sets for us are still there. My turn to wear the cape has passed. What Superman stands for never will. It's been a fun ride with you all, onwards and upwards. Very classy. Very classy thing to say. I appreciate that. I respect that. That was very nice. As someone who is, I'm not a fan of his take on the character, and it's more Zack Snyder's take on the character. He was just used to make that take happen, I suppose. That was very classy. I like that. And he's a good guy. I mean, I do like Henry Cavill. Just, I don't know, as a person, he seems really cool. Like he's a big old geek, big beefy, geeky beefcake, if you will. Yeah, chat, we're gonna see. But again, I think this is great news. I think this is what needed to happen for a long time. I think it's clear they're doing a complete reboot of the DC universe, as they should have a long time ago. And they're going to start clean. They're going to start fresh, which is great. And I'm sure Twitter is very relaxed about it right now. I'm sure they're taking it in stride. Hey, we'll see. I'm sure there'll be more announcements, certainly of the new year, once we get in the January chat. So, yeah, I'm very interested to see what James Gunn's going to be doing. I've liked what he's done at DC so far. Obviously, with the Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, I want to see his own versions of these characters. And looks like he's going to be doing right by Superman. So, I'm very excited about that. Very excited about that, chat.